We've got with us today the guys behind a really great brand that is just brilliant. It's called Windrush Bay. And as the name suggests, it's quintessentially Caribbean. And so we featured Windrush Bay as the people behind one of our 10 products to buy and to try in the second issue of Pitch Black magazine. So if you haven't got the magazine yet, please go and get it. So you can know a little bit more about Joanne Crossley, who's the CEO, and Bradley Henderson, who's the marketing director. And they are the people behind Windrush Bay. So
hi, welcome.
Welcome, Joanne and Bradley. How are you guys doing?
We're fine,
Thank you. Yes.
Nice day. Good day for it.
Yes,
brilliant. And thank you for being a part of the second issue. One of the things that really captured my attention was your branding, and your branding was really quintessentially Caribbean. But before we go into the brand itself, just tell us a little bit about your backgrounds prior to Windrush Bay.
Okay, so my background is in procurement, supply chain management, and operations. So I've had the experience of working in sort of commercial organizations. I've also worked for a charity and a sort of a government organization, sort of an arm's length body. So I've had the experience of working across sort of all sort of types of organizations.
Yeah.
And my background is actually, I started off in retail. And then I ended up in marketing. I did it for about 15 years, mainly car ads and FMCG products. So it's a wonderful experience for this brand.
Absolutely.
All right. So you've come from that background and probably hearing about business ownership and entrepreneurship to now being business owners. How does that feel? Wow, it feels great, but there's also a massive weight of responsibility that comes with that as well. So, you know, obviously when you're working in an organization, you know, your employer sort of takes care of you, you know, in the sort of entrepreneurial sort of sphere that we're in. It's a completely different ball game. You're responsible for everything.
Your responsibility, your decision, and everything. And decisions have to be made quicker than it would do in a company, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But despite that, you decided to make the jump and start Windrush Bay. What was the motivation behind that?
Oh, well, it was actually started a number of years ago, actually. And it started out, it was a rainy day in Brixton. That's how it began. It was a rainy, soggy day in Brixton, looking to buy sort of the usual Caribbean provisions. And I went into one particular shop and the experience there wasn't particularly pleasant. And it dawned on me, I thought, well, it's always unpleasant, this shopping experience for Caribbean produce. And I felt, actually, I could do this. I could open a shop and make a really nice shop where, you know, people feel, you know, welcomed and, you know, customers are informed about the products, the people who sell the products know what they're selling and all those sorts of things. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to start this. And this is way back in 2008 when I came up with the concept. Yes. And so sort of talked about what we would call the brand, paused for a time, and we decided in 2014 to call the business Windrush Bay, because we felt that that was what we were about, really. It was about actually, you know, selling Caribbean products, tropical groceries, to not just to, you know, Caribbean and African communities, but everybody really. So that's where it started. And initially the plan was to have a physical shop and then have an online on the side. But then the credit crunch took place in 2008. Some people may remember that. So it meant that we couldn't get the funding to open the physical shop. So we thought, okay, well, we'll try online. And that's what we've been doing ever since. It's been online ever since. Maybe one day we will have a wonderful shop to showcase what we do. But then for the meantime, it's all online.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Okay.
And also one of the things, the additional to that, we're also trying to what we call curate Caribbean cuisine. We would like everyone to understand the benefits of it and the simplicity of cooking it, because it looks complex, but it isn't. It's I always say the word when you see your mom or your wife spending a lot of time in the kitchen, it's because she's putting love in cooking. But when you're cooking, you just cook the same thing, but it's done the same preparation, same time. But it's just mom and wife spends more time making sure everything is a lot nicer. You know what I mean? So these are the things we're trying to do, because we've understood a lot about our cuisine. We know about the product, and we understand about the products. So we feel that not that we best place, but for what we sell, we know what we're selling, and and it's important for us that, especially for the elders, it's important that the food is fresh, because so many times they'll spend the money and only to go home and find out only a quarter of the stuff is any good. We make sure and we repeat to them, if any of the items are not good or there's any issues, please tell us within 48 hours and we replace it. So
brilliant.
We serve our community.
That's really important for us.
Very
important. Community. And what has the overall experience been from the time you started the business to now? What's the journey been like? What are some of the challenges, some of the highlights?
Well, the journey's been fantastic, because especially last year, we saw the pleasure on our customers' faces of having their food delivered to them. They didn't have to go out, wake up 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, get ready to go at 7 o'clock to buy the best part. They know that what they're getting is the best parts of you know.
And certainly in terms of the actual journey itself, you know, when we started back, you know, in those early days, the idea of having sort of fresh produce delivered, particularly tropical fruit and veg delivered to the door, was something that a lot of people balked against. They were very like, well, no, you know, we want to see it, we want to feel it and touch it, because that's what they're used to. And initially, when we did a sort of focus group, they loved the concept of, yes, I don't mind my canned products delivered and things in packets, but when it comes to fresh produce, no, hell no. We want to see it, we want to touch it, and make sure it's right. And so when we decided to launch our tropical fruit and veg box in 2019, we thought, okay, we're going to go for it. And so we tried it in sort of within Greater London, and we had, you know, some good responses to it. And then in March 2020, the lockdown happened. So a situation where obviously people wanted to be able to get to the shops, they couldn't, everywhere was shut. How are they going to get their hard food? How are they going to get their plantain, the yams, and all those sorts of things? And we were, you know, at the right place at the right time, really, in terms of actually offering that service. And so, as you can imagine, it was literally like a rocket. It was phenomenal, the number of responses we had. And there was one particular lady we delivered to in West London, and I think she may have kind of started that reaction, because she received the box and she gave wonderful reviews about it, and she said this would be brilliant for when the lockdown happens, and that was it. And so we found that people actually trusted us, because there was, well, you know, how do we know if it's fresh? You know, are you a black-owned business? Are you sure you're a black-owned business? Because a lot of people couldn't believe that this is actually a black-owned business. So that was one issue, and we overcame that. But the response has been fantastic, you know, and our customers have been brilliant. And, you know, we have a really strong customer relationship. And a lot of our customers, they're very loyal to us, totally understanding, and they really do appreciate the service that we offered, particularly during lockdown.
It's because we see the brand, and we see the brand just not as selling, but we see it as a community brand. It's all about the Caribbean community as well as the local community or national community, because we understand there are other nationalities who would like to experience some of the West Indian cuisine. So
absolutely,
we make it affordable to them, and we'll deliver nationwide. It's not a problem. We deliver nationwide, and we've as far as Scotland, as far as Ireland as well.
Wow.
So we do deliver.
You guys are really branching out. You're answering a lot of the questions that I'm thinking to ask. So I was going to say, you've experienced the credit crunch, because so you've been on the entrepreneurship journey a little longer than some of the people we've been talking to. So you've come through credit crunch, and I was going to ask you how COVID treated you, you know, but it looks like it's really taken you to another level, you know. And then and then Bradley just touched on it. I thought, okay, I'll ask another question instead, and then Bradley just touched on it, because I was going to ask how wide is the bay?
Well, I'll tell you a funny thing is, during the pandemic, I got a call from someone from Kingston, Jamaica, and she says to me, do I deliver? I said, yes. I said, where are you? She goes, I'm in Kingston. So I thought I was in Kingston, Richmond. She said, no, Kingston, Jamaica. Said, I'm sorry, ma'am, we're in London. And she goes, what, you in London? He's selling food so fresh like that, better than the food I can get? And I was just amazed. And I just felt so good knowing that someone over there wants the food that we're selling over here, because they see the food, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, so
that really is like the pandemic's kind of like rocketed you in terms of the delivery and the online sort of thing, you know. But how did you but you're talking about the freshness, and people, you know, back home in the Caribbean, they're saying, well, how fresh this produce is, because I think one of the things that have hit you know, business is not just the pandemic, but the whole Brexit thing, in terms of where you're relying on deliveries and trade routes and, you know, all of that. You know, so how did you fare supply chain wise to get such fresh produce?
Well, we're quite lucky, because we have individual importers. We buy certain things from breadfruit, pears, mangoes, sweet potatoes and stuff. But the others come from the usual source of importation. And it meant having to buy, because we insist on fresh stock. So we've meant having to get stock in every morning, every day, so that we can serve the customer, because we don't keep the stock for a week and then sell it. We buy it 24, 48 hours before to deliver, and it's delivered fresh. So but that solved the problem. However, the issue became we were delivering, we'd give 2-3 days for delivery because of the pandemic, and it got to a stage where it's taking 2 weeks, but the customers were still prepared to wait. Because once their friend said to them, trust me, it's brilliant, it's really fresh, they were happy to wait. And we're delivering orders. We were delivering orders 7 days a week for about 3 months, 7 days a week.
And the trust really was the key thing for us, is that we built up trust with our customers. Because, you know, there was a bit of sort of skepticism about, you know, the quality and the freshness. But I think, you know, we had a lot of people sort of talking about what we were doing via their WhatsApp groups. And it was through the WhatsApp groups that the word spread about our service. And so because of that, people were willing to try, because they had it on recommendation from their friends. And then and so on it went. So that's been fantastic. And we were really glad about this, because we knew that, you know, obviously with the lockdown, it impacted in certain communities far more acutely than others. Obviously, it affected us all, but there were some people that were really badly affected. A lot of people were isolated. And we had, you know, people ringing up saying, you know, I need to get this box to mum, you know, my grand, you know, there's a family member who can't get to the door. So it was really, really appreciated. And I think certainly building up that trust with those customers has certainly benefited us. And that's been really important, to maintain that level of trust with the quality of food that we deliver.
Sorry,
one of the things that we're getting loud and clear, which is brilliant to hear, is that you are completely customer centric. You're a very customer centric
business. We saw what our parents went through, you see. So we determined not to make our customers go through the same experience. That's the goal.
Yeah, and it's also about actually having knowledge, because you know we're of Caribbean heritage. You know, my parents are Jamaican and Brad's you know, Dominican. And for us, it's about, you know, we know the products because, you know, our parents taught us. You know, we know what to look for if the yam isn't good. We know what a fresh pumpkin, you know, looks like, smells like, all those sorts of things. And I think the frustration for me at the early days, when I talked about the situation in the Brixton market, I was walking along one of the shops, and I was actually looking for cocoa yam. And you know, there was the sort of cocoa yam on display, but it was written as ADDOS. So cocoa yam is also known as Edos. And it was incorrectly spelled. And I thought, well, you know, if I didn't know any better, if I asked that you know, the shopkeeper, can you show me where the cocoa yam or where the Edos is, he probably wouldn't even know. And it's not just for me, it's, you know, what people might be looking for that, because Jamie Oliver might have featured it in one of his recipes, and they will be looking for this product, and it wasn't even correctly spelled. And I thought, God, that's really infuriating. So that kind of got me going. I thought, oh, you know, you know, I can do better than this. But yes, it's really about the knowledge. You know, we know the products. We've grown up with the product. We know when it's in season. We know the best time to you know, to actually showcase the fruit at its best. So that's really key for us as well.
It reminds me of a famous incident or infamous incident of a very popular chef who did rice and peas. We won't call the name of the chef. We won't talk about the program. But everybody who knew was like, "What? There is no way." So yeah. I hear that. I hear that.
Yes, right. You know, we want to share, yes, and we want everybody to taste our food. And you know, you talked about, you know, other people experiencing cooking it, but we want the information to be accurate.
Absolutely,
be authentic. It's got to be accurate, really.
You know, and if you're going to experiment and do a style on it, let it be known that it's your style. Don't put it out there. This is the real deal.
This is it.
Yes.
This is the authentic.
Oh dear. So, guys, as people who have navigated some real challenges, credit crunch, pandemic, you know, what advice could you give to, you know, younger business people, entrepreneurs, you know, to keep them going through the challenges?
That's a great question.
It's really tough, and particularly if you're operating on a shoestring budget. You know, it's really, really tough. I think it's about just staying positive, because if you've got that vision, you just have to go for it. But just be mindful that there will be sort of unexpected things that will pop up along the way. But I think it's important about just keeping positive and having a good network of family and friends around to support, because that is so important. The support around, you know, for young entrepreneurs in particular, because it is tough.
And for the young ones, I advise them to save up to have a cash sum to start off with, because one of the difficulties is that you have a wonderful idea, you can put it in practice, but you don't have the initial cash to
capital,
and then that becomes a upward stride all the time. And then even getting into the bank becomes an issue, because if they're not seeing what they want to see, so always advise to have a little bit of some money to kickstart you.
Okay. You know what? I think now is probably a good time to have a look at what's in the box, and then come back and ask a couple more questions before we go. So hey, let's actually go look as to what's in the Windrush Bay box.
Cool.
Welcome back.
Hey guys, welcome back. So we have had the Windrush Bay fruit and veg box, tropical fruit and veg box, and we've just been salivating. So what was in the box?
Well, you know, in that first part of the interview, it was actually so hard because you're talking about the freshness a lot.
Yeah.
And all I can smell.
The smells, the thyme, yeah, the scallion. It was brilliant.
Because I always wondered, why do we buy dry thyme?
Yeah.
Why do we buy dry thyme when?
You know, honestly, I mean,
it's so fresh, so lovely.
I'm gonna. One of the things I enjoy making in terms of my own Caribbean cooking are patties. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to have fresh thyme. People say to me, Judy, how you get them to taste like that? It's because I use fresh thyme. It makes a complete difference. You know.
It really does.
Yeah.
You know what I'm making this weekend, don't you?
Among other things. And I think that was also the thing for us in terms of, you know, building the trust with our customers, because obviously the handling, particularly during the pandemic, there was minimal handling of produce.
Yeah.
So that was really the key thing, was that, you know, you literally get it in, you know, from the box and give it to the customer in the box, and you know, there's hardly any handling at all.
Brilliant.
Product, so that retains its freshness.
Because we had a saying, it's touched by three hands, the picker, the packer, the seller.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I like that. Picker, packer, seller.
Yeah, honestly, these Scotch bonnet, I mean, it can be seen in the unboxing, but
I've got to be honest, we buy a lot of Scotch bonnets because Judy makes a lot of patting. But the Scotch bonnets that we sometimes see and have to buy, because that's the option, is so shriveled and just not very nice. These, on the other hand, are fresh. You know, they kind of make me want to bite into them, but I won't.
You can do that as well, you know.
I put them in my patties, but I also put them in my chocolate.
They're brilliant.
You know, so these I'm like, okay, nobody touch.
What else you got in the book?
You know, and this, now I have to say that, you know, you have your favorites growing up, but I have never in my life seen okra so fresh.
So fresh and
And I'm like, oh, it was one of my things where I'm like, no, that's not my favorite. I don't want to eat that. But these look like, you know what? Let me find a recipe. Maybe I'll try it now. Because
okra juice.
Okra juice is a good one.
Okra juice. Okay. What do you do? You just blend it?
You cut it into fine pieces. Put in a blender. Grate ginger also. Squeeze half a lemon, not lime, lemon. Then you add 2-3 spoons of honey. Then you blend it with first. Just blend it all. Then you add water. So it depends on the density of the thickness. You add water, much or little water. It's very, very good for your immune system.
Quite nice as well.
That's what I lived on during the pandemic. That's that.
I like that, because my sister, who's the herbalist in the family, she's got me
the
juicing garlic, turmeric. What else she got in there? Ginger, lemon, and I think you know I might just try the okra.
I think you need to kind of like send us that recipe so we can put that there for the viewer to try.
Do cucumber with ginger and kale. That's another one. Just
But these are lovely, honestly.
What else did we have in the box?
Right, so we brought these into the studio with us. We didn't leave them down in the box because our daughter is home from university. And she saw these. She says, oh, and you know, you're thinking, so where did things go when they travel back? So I'm hanging on to these. Look.
I have to explain that the skin of the banana of the plantain doesn't necessarily mean that the plantain is bruised.
No.
Oh, we know.
But some people assume that it's
So
here's what I like, though. I've got to be honest. I mean, there were other stuff in there. There was green banana. There was scallion.
Oh, again.
And the scallion. Some of the biggest scallions that I've seen recently.
Wow.
They were massive. They were massive.
You know?
But this was one of my favorite. The sweet potato.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you had 2 of those, and
pumpkin.
I'm tired of buying butternut squash.
Yes.
This is what we want.
Proper pumpkin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is brilliant.
We've got nothing against butternut squash, but when you want a good pumpkin soup,
I'm telling
you need
you.
a good pumpkin.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
And obviously in the box, we can. There are 12 standard ingredients that we have in the box, and those ingredients we consider to be kind of the basis for many a Caribbean cuisine. Obviously, we have other produce as well, so you can add to the box if you wish. Cocoa yam. You can add some extra time if you want. Yeah. As well as fruits as well. So, but those 12 items are the kind of the foundations of Caribbean it's part of, cuisine, if you like.
Or your daily Caribbean daily diet. Because we actually went through the process of researching, making sure that I got the right produce especially during the pandemic. It was important that the food that we ate was beneficial for us. So I made sure that I picked the things that we know is beneficial, and then you can buy the ginger extra, but you have iron in the green bananas, you have your alkaline in the chocho and in the okra, and you can see in the pineapple and the lime. So these are all the things that we don't just sell. Like I'm saying, we're trying to curate.
I like it.
You see.
And Joanne, you just answered there one of my questions, because there was a big piece of yam in there. It wasn't a piece of yam; it was a yam. Because we're so used to buying a piece of yam.
Trying to find a.
It was a whole yam, and you're saying that yam was cocoa yam.
No, that wasn't. No, the cocoa yams are smaller. They're a lot smaller.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they're a lot smaller.
You have to speak to the people that know.
I'm telling you. Listen, I reckon we're going to have to make Saturday soup this week or this weekend.
Like it.
No, honestly, I keep doing this. It took all of my resolve through the first part to just leave it alone. Yeah. It smells beautiful. Absolutely. Fresh
and of course, I think there was some limes as well.
There were limes.
Not lemons, but limes. There was a pineapple, my favorite again.
Yeah. Everything's just so fresh and lovely,
and very well presented.
Yeah,
so that was really good.
There's a way,
guys. Thank you so much.
It's the colors. We get the colors so that you can see the Caribbean when you look at the box. You see colors.
Yeah. Okay. So listen, 2 last questions before we go to our quick fire dozen. Out of the range, what would you say is your favorite product? Out of the 12, which one?
That's a mean question.
Oh wow!
No. Well, for me, it's okra.
Okay.
I think
it's the yam for her. I'll tell her it's the yam for her.
Yams is the first, and then probably the plantains is a very close.
Yes.
Okay.
But I do like my okra juice.
I've never tried it before, but I'm definitely gonna go try it.
Yes.
I do not know. Honestly, I've never seen.
Yeah.
It looks pretty. I'll be like, Mommy, I'm not eating that. The food is fresh and pretty, and the smells.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
It's really lovely.
It's more about
I'll take a picture and send it to you, so you can see the green, the shade of green. It's a
definitely.
Yes, definitely.
I'll send a picture for you guys next time.
And then last question before the quickfire dozen, what can we expect for the next 12 months from Windrush Bay?
Oh, well, there will be some surprises. I think we'll keep that under our hat for now, but certainly on our social media platforms and on the website. Obviously, we are looking to expand the range, and it's all about the kind of quintessentially Caribbean thing. That's what we're about. Yeah. But yes, there will be some pleasant surprises in store. Let's put it that way.
And the products that will arrive is not the products you necessarily find at the high street, because it is
Caribbean.
Yeah. I mean, we did introduce a new product very recently, which is a volcanic ash soap from St. Vincent. Oh, wow. Absolutely amazing. It's actually made from the ash from the volcano that erupted last year. What we're about is finding those sort of really unusual products that don't normally get the opportunity to be showcased, you know, in sort of standard high street. And that's what we're about. So we're about the everyday groceries, yes, of course, but we're also about those quintessentially Caribbean things that you don't always see. And that includes, you know, all manner of rums and sauces and seasonings, etc.
Very nice. Very nice.
The most popular product is one of these Aunt May's Bajan sauce.
Yeah, it's huge.
We selling this up and down the country because you see, and again, we have, as well as Caribbean people, we have people who's been on holiday who've experienced the sauce.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And then they see it, and suddenly they buy 3-4 to make sure they're stocked up. Oh, well, I've got to tell you a most hilarious story. We sell a beer called Piton from St. Lucia.
Oh, yeah.
And at the end of the pandemic last year, we found we're selling cases of the beer. And so I decided I was delivering a case to a customer, only to find that this guy had been in St. Lucia on holiday and he was stuck out there during the pandemic. So when he came back, that's all he was drinking. And so since he found it, he's been ordering it ever since. And we get bottles as well as 4 bottles as well as 24 bottles. So it's like, once they experience it, they want it. So this is what we try to do. We want to get them to have the experience, and then they can indulge.
Yeah, and I think what's really wonderful with you know, our customer base, you know, our customer audience comes from everywhere. You know, we're not specific to, you know, yes, of course we have a lot of Caribbeans and Africans who visit our website, but you know, we have British white people, Asians. I mean, it's across the board. You know, so we really do appeal to everybody, which is fantastic, and that's what we always want to achieve, is to offer that Caribbean experience to everyone. There's so much in there, and obviously with that the Caribbean heritage, there are so many nationalities and races within Caribbean anyway.
Exactly.
We have that appeal to so many.
And the wonderful thing about our cooking as well is that our cooking of fusions is Creole. It's a combination of West Indian and French, West Indian and Italian, West Indian and Irish, West Indian and Scottish. So we can cater for the Europeans as well, because they'll find if they sit down and eat, they'd be pleasantly surprised because they've actually had that taste before, but just not presented in the manner in which it was presented. You know,
I mean, we celebrate you guys as entrepreneurs, you know, and we love what you're just saying in terms of the breadth of it, because like yourselves, when we're not just there to cheer you guys on, but we talk about Black being for everyone from us, you know. So we have, you know, and then of course in the Caribbean, our heritage is Jamaican, and our national motto is out of many one people. You know, so that whole fusion, and I think that's the thing. The Caribbean experience is actually, that is the ultimate kind of fusion, if you like.
Absolutely.
So many different nationalities and so many races. We are really a fusion of you know, many countries in one region.
Brilliant. So thank you so much, guys. Let's go to the quick fire dozen.
Yes.
And it feels quite appropriate to be asking you guys this first question. So the first question is,
and the second question.
And the second question. So the first one is jollof
or rice and peas.
Rice and
you know,
peas.
I do love jollof though, I must admit, I really do. But yeah, it's rice and peas.
Okay.
Rice and peas.
All right. And there's been many discussions about how you pronounce this thing. Is it plantain or plantain?
Plantain.
I like it.
My mother said plantain, so
well, I think it depends on where you're from. Depending where you're from, plantain or plantain.
Okay. All right. Here's another one: beach holiday
or city break.
Has to be a beach holiday.
On Windrush Bay.
That's it. You didn't call it Windrush City, you called it Windrush Bay.
Exactly, because it's from our shores to our doors.
Cash flow
or capital appreciation?
For me, capital. Well,
for me, cash flow.
And I would say capital appreciation.
Okay, okay. All right. Netflix
or YouTube?
Netflix.
Okay.
All right.
Reggae
Or Afrobeats?
It has to be reggae. I do like the Afrobeats. I love Afrobeat, but it's reggae.
I was brought on it, so
yeah. Okay, okay. All right, listening to music.
We love going on pilgrimages, reggae pilgrimage, which is
okay.
Well, we call that. I call it a pilgrim, but actually it used to be the Jamrock cruise. You know, but this is
right. Oh,
everything reggae.
Yes,
everything reggae.
With the Marleys.
Yes, everything reggae, which is so wonderful.
From Miami to Kingston, I think. Yeah.
Very nice. Poetry and Falmouth and Montego Bay.
Oh, nice one. Wow. Okay. So I guess that leads us to the next question, and I think I got the answer. Listening to music
or listening to podcasts?
Music.
It has to be listened to live.
Yeah, we kind of gathered. Now, Uber Eats
or Deliveroo?
Deliveroo.
Okay.
I would have said Windrush Bay.
Well, that goes without saying. But yes.
All right. Stocks and shares
or crypto?
Stocks and shares.
Okay. Samsung
or Apple?
Apple.
Okay. Night in
or night out?
Oh, we've done so much night out now. Now is the safer night in.
Oh dear.
After this lockdown, I wouldn't mind a night out or two, actually. So.
Okay, good. And here's the big one now.
Okay.
I'm waiting to hear the answer to this. Oxtail
or curry goat?
Oxtail for me.
Curry goat for me.
Yeah,
that kind of mirrors us, isn't it? Because I'm an oxtail boy, and this lady here, she loves her curry goat.
My Scotch bonnet can go in any of them.
Yeah.
And my fresh thyme can go in any of. I can't. Do you know what?
The studio is filled with the smell of thyme.
I can't explain how lovely this is. I think for me, I lost my sense of smell many years ago. Got it back. So when I smell something really nice. Very nice.
Listen,
very nice.
Guys, it's been such a pleasure talking to you guys. Sorry?
Please videotape us doing the cooking when you're cooking that soup. We'd love to see it.
Okay.
Yes, and please share the box as well, let people see the box. So that'd be great.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
That's in the unboxing and everything.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for giving us a great start to our weekend.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being on the Pitch Black unboxing show. Absolutely a pleasure. And finally, just before you go, where can people find you? What's your website? Where can they order their own tropical fruit and veg box?
Okay, so the website is www.windrushbay.com.
Okay.
And you will see a wonderful range of all things Caribbean, including the fruit and veg box.
Your everyday seasoning, everyday condiments, and we deliver nationwide as well.
That is brilliant. Yes. Okay, guys, you have no excuse. Go to windrushbay.com. Get your tropical fruit and veg box and a whole range of other stuff, and it's delivered nationwide.
Yep.
What are you waiting for?
If you take our subscription,
make your okra juice.
Yes,
so brilliant.
Subscription you get.
So thank you so much, guys.
Take good care.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for being on the show, and we'll speak soon.
Take care now.
Bye-bye. Take care. Bye. Bye.